Namaskar bachcho, hope all are fine and safe. Let's have a quick recapitulation of the previous chapter. The topic was dissolution of partnership firm, where we have seen the first point was the meaning of dissolution of partnership firm. The meaning is breaking up or extinction, that is discontinuation of existing relationship among the partners. Then the difference between dissolution of partnership and dissolution of partnership firm, where with the help of some bases or points I have explained the differences. Take a screenshot of the slides on your screen. Then the third point, we have seen the modes or ways of dissolution, and I have explained the conditions where a firm stand dissolved. Then finally about settlement of accounts, where I told certain rules to be followed at the time of dissolution of a firm. Okay. Now let's start today's topic, and the topic is journal entries on dissolution of a partnership firm. Okay. Before I start with the journal entries, let's see what are the accounts we are going to prepare at the time of dissolution. The first account is realization account, then partners loan account, then partners capital account, then cash and bank account. So these are the accounts we are going to prepare at the time of dissolution. Okay. So what is the base for preparing these accounts? Your balance sheet. Obviously you will be given with one balance sheet, and additional informations will be given for the assets being realized and the liabilities to be paid. So all informations will be there, and with that with the help of that informations available, you need to prepare the realization account, partners loan account, partners capital account, and cash and bank account, cash or bank account. Okay students, let's see how we are going to prepare the balance sheet. It can also be done in direct way, like balance sheet is there, if we want to prepare realization account, we can directly transfer the asset side items to the realization debit side. This is the debit side and this is the credit side. Asset can be transferred to the realization account debit side, and liabilities can be transferred to the realization account credit side, and like this we can transfer the assets and liabilities from balance sheet. It is the first step. Then to sell this, we will be showing the amount, received amount or realized amount in the credit side of realization account as by bank. The same way when we do the payment of liabilities, we will be showing the payment in the debit side of realization account as to bank. This is the direct and easy method, but assets, all the assets are transferred to realization account? No, all the assets are not transferred to realization account, or not all the liabilities are transferred to realization account. We can't do some copy paste, copy or select all and copy paste, like that we can't do. Actually some items are there which has to be excluded from the asset side and from the liabilities side. So for that I am going to start with the journal entries which will make you clear and which will support you wherever you stuck between solving a question. Okay, so it is going to be a guide for you. Okay, let's start with the first journal entry. For transfer of assets. All assets will be transferred to realization account except. So as I told, assets, not all the assets will be transferred to liabilities account, except some assets you have to transfer all the assets to the realization account, and that assets are cash and bank balances, fictitious assets, debit balance of partners current and capital accounts, debit balance of profit and loss account, loan to a partner. So these are the items we have to exclude from the asset side. Cash and bank account, cash and bank balances, fictitious assets, debit balance of partners current or capital account, debit balance of profit and loss account, loan to a partner. So actually why these are excluded from the realization account? Because we will take only those assets which can be realized or which can be converted into cash. Here cash at bank is already in liquid form. Fictitious assets are just an imaginary asset which cannot be written off during the accounting period. Then debit balance of partners current and capital account is a loss, it can't be transferred. So all these items will be transferred to the partners capital account. Loan to a partner, this will be transferred to loan account of the partner. The first point is all assets except some assets we have seen are transferred to realization account. Next point is assets against which provisions or reserves has been created or also transferred to realization account at its gross value. So the second point is assets against which provisions or reserves has been created, that will also be transferred to realization account at its gross value and not at its net value. For example, in the balance sheet, debtors will be given to you less provision. मान लीजिए डेटाज आपका 20,000 है एंड प्रोविजन फॉर बैड डेट इज 2,000 and the net value you wrote after deduction of provision for bad debt is 18,000. इसमें आपको ये नेट वैल्यू को नहीं लेना है, यू हैव टू take this gross value of 20,000 for debtors. So this debtors will be transferred to the realization account. As I said, asset side debtors will be transferred to the realization account debit side, but with the gross value and not with the net value. Okay students, so I'll tell how the balance sheet asset side will be transferred to the realization account debit side. Balance sheet, we'll take some items of balance sheet: cash in hand, cash at bank, machinery, investment. Like this you will be having many assets, many items in the asset side that will be transferred to the realization debit side, okay, with the gross value. So now can you transfer this cash? No, because it is already in liquid form. Cash at bank? No, already in liquid form. Machinery, it will be transferred to the debit side. The same way investment, yes, investment will also be transferred to the debit of realization account. So like this you have to transfer the asset side items to the realization account debit side. So this is the first step. Like this you have to transfer your asset. So journal entry for this one is for transfer of asset, the journal entry is realization account data to sundry asset account. Okay, let's move on to the next topic, and the topic is for transfer of liabilities. For transfer of liabilities, the journal entry is liabilities account data to realization account. So the format is, here amount will be debited, here amount will be credited. If you are doing it in exam, you have to follow the proper format, like you have to write the date here, then particulars, LF, debit amount, credit amount, like that you have to give a complete journal entry format. Okay. So the journal entry is liabilities account data to realization account. Whether all the liabilities will be transferred to the realization account? No. Here also we are not going to transfer all liabilities to the realization account. So what we are going to do? All external liabilities will be transferred to realization account. All external liabilities will be transferred to realization account. That means what? There are some liabilities which cannot be transferred to realization credit side. Okay, they are credit balance of profit and loss account, credit balance of capital or current account, reserves if any, then finally loan from a partner. Okay, so liabilities will be transferred to the credit of realization account, but not all the liabilities. You have to see, if credit balance of profit and loss account is there, you should not transfer that. Credit balance of capital or current account is there, you should not transfer that. If reserve is there, the amount set aside as a reserve is there, even that amount won't be transferred to realization account. Loan from a partner, अगर आपने partner से loan लेकर रखा है तो वो भी transfer नहीं होगा realization account में. Okay, so all these will be transferred to partners capital account. Loan account will be transferred to partners loan account. ठीक है, जब हम पार्टनर को लोन देते हैं तो कैश विल बी गोइंग आउट, सो पार्टनर्स लोन अकाउंट विल बी डेबिटेड एंड कैश विल बी क्रेडिटेड. सो ऑल अदर अकाउंट्स विल बी ट्रांसफर टू पार्टनर्स कैपिटल अकाउंट. तो इसके अलावा जो है आपका जो भी एक्सटर्नल लाइबिलिटीज है, ऑल द एक्सटर्नल लाइबिलिटीज विल बी ट्रांसफर टू योर रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट. ओके स्टूडेंट्स, द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट इज liabilities against which provisions and reserves has been created will be transferred to realization account at its gross value. As I told in the asset side, like debtors, I told if provision for doubtful debts is there, you have to take the gross amount only, you should not take the net amount. Okay, with liabilities provisions will be there and you should not deduct the provision amount, you have to take the gross amount and you have to transfer the gross amount to the realization account credit side. Okay students, the next point is loan from relatives or spouse. अगर आपने अपने रिलेटिव से या वाइफ हस्बैंड से या हस्बैंड वाइफ से अगर लोन लिए हैं तो इवन दैट लोन विल बी considered as a third external liability, and that external liability will be treated as like your same like your other liabilities, external liabilities. So अगर liabilities, अगर for example B's wife's loan is there in the balance sheet, तो आपको क्या करना है, इसको सेम वे जैसा आप बाकी एक्सटर्नल लाइबिलिटीज को ट्रांसफर करें वैसे ही इसको भी ट्रांसफर करना है रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट क्रेडिट साइड में बाय बीज वाइफ्स लोन. Okay students, okay, the next topic is for transfer of reserves for doubtful debts, depreciation, provisions created against any assets and liabilities. ठीक है, so you might have seen debtors का provision होता था, bad and doubtful debts हम देखते थे, bad and doubtful debts for creditors हम लोग देखते थे. So जो ये जितने भी provisions है या reserves है, all that provisions and reserves has to be transferred to realization credit side. Okay, so provisions का जितना भी क्रेडिट बैलेंस है दैट क्रेडिट बैलेंसेस विल बी क्रेडिटेड टू रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट. ओके, कैसे? द जर्नल एंट्री विल बी प्रोविजन फॉर डेप्रिसिएशन अकाउंट डेटा, प्रोविजन फॉर बैड डेट्स अकाउंट डेटा, इन्वेस्टमेंट फ्लक्चुएशन फंड अकाउंट डेटा टू रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट. सो ऐसा करके हम लोग जितना भी हमारा क्रेडिट बैलेंसेस है प्रोविजंस का या रिजर्व्स का, दैट हैज टू बी ट्रांसफर टू द रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट. Okay, in the same point, if provisions which have debit balance, in the last point I told provisions which have credit balance, now if a provision have a debit balance, debit side it will be transferred to the debit side of the realization account. Okay, so the journal entry will be so if you have a debit balance of provisions, you have to transfer it to debit side of realization account, and the journal entry is realization account data to provision for bad and doubtful debts. Okay, the next point, under this topic is points to be पॉइंट्स टू बी नोटेड, यानी कि आप जब ये करेंगे तो और क्या क्या पॉइंट्स जो है आपको थोड़ा सा याद रख के इसको करना होगा. व्हेन एसेट्स आर ट्रांसफर टू रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट, ऑल इट्स प्रोविजंस विल आल्सो बी ट्रांसफर टू रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट. जब आप एसेट्स, जो भी एसेट्स को आप ट्रांसफ़र कर रहे हैं तो उसके करस्पॉन्डिंग जो प्रोविजंस है वो भी रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट्स में ट्रांसफ़र होगा. ओके, सो असेट्स विल बी ट्रांसफर्ड, द सेम वे प्रोविजंस विल बी ट्रांसफर्ड. इसके लिए क्या एग्जांपल मैंने बताया था, डेटर्स लेस प्रोविजन ये हम लोग ग्रॉस अमाउंट के लिए बताया था कि डेटार्स आपको ग्रॉस में लेना है, प्रोविजंस रहेगा, नेट अमाउंट नहीं लेना है। लेकिन यहाँ पे क्या है, हमारे पास डेटार्स एक असेट भी है एंड विद दैट वन प्रोविजन इज ऑल्सो देयर, उसका करस्पॉन्डिंग एक प्रोविजन भी है। दोनों को आपको रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट में लेके जाना है। सो हाउ इट विल बी ट्रांसफर टू रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट। डेटार्स आपका कहाँ जाएगा, बैलेंस शीट में, व्हाट आई टोल्ड, क्रॉस में आपका क्रॉस में ये ट्रांसफर होगा, डेटार्स विल बी ट्रांसफर टू द डेबिट साइड ऑफ रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट। वहीं पे प्रोविजन कहाँ पे ट्रांसफर होगा, प्रोविजन विल बी ट्रांसफर टू द क्रेडिट साइड। सो यहाँ पे प्रोविजंस या रिजर्व्स या फंड्स जितना भी है वो सब जो है आपका क्रेडिट साइड में, रियलाइजेशन क्रेडिट साइड में ट्रांसफर होगा। देन इन्वेस्टमेंट, एडिशनल आपको याद रखना है, investments will be इन्वेस्टमेंट आपका कहाँ पे रहता है, बैलेंस शीट का एसेट साइड में। इन्वेस्टमेंट विल बी shown in the asset side of your balance sheet, बट उसका करस्पॉन्डिंग जो रिजर्व है, इन्वेस्टमेंट फ्लक्चुएशन फंड जो है वो आपका लाइबिलिटी साइड में रहेगा। सो इफ इट इज in the liability side, what you have to do, investment will be transferred to the debit of realization account and investment fluctuation fund will be transferred to your क्रेडिट साइड ऑफ रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट। ठीक है, यहाँ पे आपको एडिशनली यहाँ में टू बी नोटेड, पॉइंट्स टू बी नोटेड में क्यों बता रहे हैं, मान लीजिए इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो अभी मैंने जो बोला था, यू हैव टू ट्रांसफर द इन्वेस्टमेंट टू द रियलाइजेशन डेबिट साइड and your IFF investment fluctuation fund will be transferred to the credit of realization account। अगर ये दोनों दिया हुआ है तो ओके, सो इन्वेस्टमेंट फ्लक्चुएशन फंड इज इन द लाइबिलिटी साइड एंड इन्वेस्टमेंट इज इन द एसेट साइड। अब इन्वेस्टमेंट नहीं है, मान लीजिए एसेट साइड में इन्वेस्टमेंट नहीं है, तो IFF विल नॉट बी ट्रांसफर टू द योर रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट, it will be transferred to the partners capital account in their profit sharing ratio। okay, the same way one more item is there, workman compensation reserve, workman compensation reserve जो कि आपका बैलेंस शीट में लाइबिलिटी साइड में रहता है, वर्कमैन compensation reserve। So if workman compensation reserve is given, you have to see whether any claim is there with regard to workman compensation reserve or not। अगर ये workman compensation reserve दिए हैं तो definitely maximum chances are there कि वो एक liability, वहाँ पे एक liability भी उसका create हुआ होगा। अगर liability है तो you have to check what is the amount of claim with regard to workman compensation reserve। मान लीजिए workman compensation reserve आपका 20,000 है एंड जो आपका claim है वो भी 20,000 है। So we have to see कि what is the claim amount and what is the workman compensation reserve amount। okay, so if both are 20,000 claim भी आपका adjustment में 20,000 दिया हुआ है and यहाँ पे workman compensation reserve भी 20,000 है। so in that case you have to transfer the whole amount to the realization account। the whole amount will be transferred to realization account। लेकिन क्लेम आपका मान लीजिए 20,000 नहीं है, इंस्टेड ऑफ 20,000 द क्लेम इज ओनली 10,000। इन दैट केस only 10,000 of workman compensation reserve will be transferred to your realization account सिर्फ 10,000 आपका रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट में ट्रांसफर होगा एंड द रिमाइनिंग 10,000 विल बी डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड टू द पार्टनर्स इन देयर प्रॉफिट शेयरिंग रेशियो। अब और एक केस भी है जहां पे क्लेम आपका एक्सीड हो जाएगा वर्कमैन कॉम्पनसेशन रिजर्व से। लाइक वर्कमैन कॉम्पनसेशन रिजर्व यहाँ पे कितना है 20,000 है, मान लीजिए क्लेम आपका 25,000 है। क्वेश्चन में आपका जो एडिशनल इन्फॉर्मेशन है उसमें क्लेम 25,000 दिखा रहा है, तो यहाँ पे क्या होगा 20,000 ही आप यहाँ पे ट्रांसफर करेंगे रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट में, क्योंकि हमारे पास रिजर्व उतना ही है। सो 20,000 यहाँ पे ट्रांसफर होगा एंड पार्टनर्स कैपिटल अकाउंट में हम कुछ भी ट्रांसफर नहीं करेंगे एंड इसको ऐसे ही क्लोज करेंगे। ओके, द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट इज फॉर कैश रियलाइज्ड ऑन sale of assets whether recorded or unrecorded. So whatever you are going to realize, like हमने जब theory portion देख रहे थे that time I told कि all the assets will be sold out. So जब आप sale करते हो तो definitely you will be receiving some amount for that. तो वहाँ पे हमारा journal entry क्या रहेगा, cash account data to realization account. So realization account में हमारा cash कहाँ पे जाएगा, credit side में जाएगा because realization account is credited. So यहाँ पे आप क्या लिखेंगे, by cash. Okay, so whatever cash you have received by way of selling the assets, that has to be shown in the credit side of realization account. The journal entry is cash account data to realization account and that will be transferred to realization account credit side. Okay, so then just remember in the additional information, if anything regarding the realization of amount about any asset is not given, that means in the absence of any information regarding realization of asset, may it be tangible or intangible, it should be assumed that no amount has been realized for that particular asset. यानी कि आपका लैंड तो आपने ट्रांसफर किया है, कर रखा है आपने रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट पे, कहाँ पे आपने ट्रांसफर किया था, रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट डेबिट साइड में आपने आपका जो एसेट है वो ट्रांसफर करके रखा है, लेकिन उस बारे में वो पर्टिकुलर एसेट के बारे में कोई भी इंफॉर्मेशन आपका एडिशनल इंफॉर्मेशन में नहीं है। तो व्हाट शुड बी अश्यूम्ड दैट वो जो पर्टिकुलर एसेट है उसका कोई भी कैश रियलाइज नहीं हुआ है। ओके, सो द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट इज फॉर कैश पेड फॉर एक्सटर्नल लायबिलिटीज। आपने लायबिलिटीज ट्रांसफर करके रखा है, कहाँ पे ट्रांसफर करें आप, लायबिलिटीज को आपने आपका रियलाइजेशन का क्रेडिट साइड में ट्रांसफर करके रखा हुआ है। नाउ व्हाट यू हैव टू डू, यू हैव टू डू द पेमेंट पार्ट। ठीक है, जब आप पेमेंट करते हैं तो वेयर यू हैव टू शो योर अमाउंट रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट टू कैश अकाउंट, दिस विल बी योर जर्नल एंट्री रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट डेटा टू कैश अकाउंट। सो आपका रियलाइजेशन में कैश डेबिट हो जाएगा, टू कैश यहाँ पे शो करेंगे, दैट मीन्स व्हाट, आपने आपका लायबिलिटीज जो भी था उसको पे कर लिया है। ओके, सो यहाँ पे भी आप जस्ट याद रखिए, इन द एब्सेंस ऑफ any information regarding the payment of liabilities, it should be assumed that an amount equal to the book value of liability is paid. क्योंकि liabilities को जो है वो वहाँ पे information हो या ना हो, we have to pay, we should pay the amount. यहाँ पे ऐसा नहीं है, एसेट्स का अगर कितना वैल्यू रियलाइज हुआ है, कोई पर्टिकुलर एसेट में कितना वैल्यू रियलाइज हुआ है वो नहीं दिया हुआ है, तो यू शुड नॉट कंसिडर दैट वन, वो वैसे ही वहाँ पे रह जाएगा। लेकिन लायबिलिटीज़, दो तीन लायबिलिटीज़ का भी अगर आपका पेमेंट के बारे में कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं है, इवन इन दैट केस ऑल्सो यू हैव टू assume that you have paid the book value of that particular liabilities. Okay students, that's all for today's class. We'll meet you in the next class with some more journal entries and with some question part. Okay, so until then, take care, stay home and stay safe.